I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Okay, wanted to do a follow-up blog to one I did a couple of months ago where I did that two-part deep dive on what's happening currently in the downtown condo market and how a lot of strata, or they were designated as strata in areas like the West End, Cole Harbour, central downtown Vancouver. These, of course, were going to be mostly luxury and ultra-luxury condos, so hardly what many people would find affordable, probably starting at about $1,800 a square foot for something on a low floor, over of the parkade entrance, to, well up to $25,000 to even $3,000 a square foot. So hardly affordable. But I did that blog saying that I get these redevelopment postcards in my mailbox every week for all the properties I own in downtown Vancouver, as well as some that I own in Richmond. And I've noticed now, I've been blogging about how a lot of these now have been repurposed from condo, stratified condo for sale that you can own, to market rental buildings, rental-only buildings. Now, as I said before, I just want to make sure, especially young people that are currently renting or people that are saving for the down payment to get into their first home, or maybe you're living at home right now and looking to move out soon, and am I going to rent? Do I want to buy? This should be a wake-up call for you people, and I want to make sure you understand the dynamics and what's happening here. Because the first thing is yes, I'm all in favor of more rental housing. We need more housing downtown, east side, west side, Richmond, everywhere. We need more homes for people to live in. We've got an immigration policy coming in with 40 or 50,000 new arrivals, and we already have very little for sale or for rent. Vacancy is near zero. So we absolutely need more rental property, or more rental homes for sure. But I want people to understand, and unlike I always tell you guys that the governments like the NDP, they talk a big talk, but they speak with forked tongue. I think most people realize that. They'll say we're going to build more rental stock, more rental housing. Well, good, that's great. But what they don't tell you is, well, this is going to be market rental. It has to be. Developers aren't going to build this stuff and subsidize it, and charge half of what it's worth. These are going to be one bedrooms starting at $2,700 a month for a 500 square foot one bed, no parking, to maybe $3,300 for a one and den, to $4,500 for a two bed. And watch my other blog. You know how I feel about purposely built rental only buildings. They're okay, but they're a bit of a zoo inside. Endless coming and goings, illegal Airbnbs. If you're a renter, you're far better off renting from a mom and pop landlord in a stratified condo where it's 50, 60%, 70% owner occupied as opposed to 100% rental. Watch my later blogs on that. But what I want people to understand is that just in the West End alone here in my neighborhood, over in areas like Thurlow, Harwood, Burnaby and Thurlow, there was about 5 strata condos that had the development boards up for many years. These were going to be probably starting at $1,600-1,700 a square foot. All 5 of those buildings have now been converted to rental only. So hey, that's great, more rental stock. But what that means is that we are not building any more condo for sale downtown for the foreseeable future. Have a look around. There's very few cranes going up. Anything that is going to come online, there are still going to be some that will be stratified buildings, but they are going to be, again, ultra luxury only at $2,000 a square foot and up. Gone are the days of anything that's going to be affordable. Now, some of these buildings in the West End were going to be some lower floor, some kind of lost leader stuff, probably at around $1,600-1,700 a square foot. Still not cheap, but at least there was going to be some more supply coming on in the condo market. Now that is all off the table. So think about this. It's already an extremely tight market, nothing for sale downtown. What I'm saying here is essentially governments like the NDP, socialist governments, they're enabling you. They're enablers. They want to keep you in that renter treadmill for life, and that's not going to do you any favors. Converting these to rental, great in the short term. In the long term, though, it's going to keep home ownership further and further out of reach. Because what it's going to do, it's simple economics. The current condo supply we have now, if we're not adding any new supply, regardless of what it is, mid-priced, luxury, ultra-luxury, is just going to put more upward pressure on the existing supply, condo supply we have. So this is the wake-up call for you young people, that you have to get into home ownership. Your window is closing, and with this, what's happened the last year here, converting the little bit of new strata coming online has been canceled and going to rental. This is going to accelerate this. It's going to keep you in, again, there's nothing wrong with renting short term, as I've said. 1 year, 2 years, you move here from Toronto, move here from Montreal, you want to get a lay of the land. I would suggest you rent for the first year. Rent, walk the neighborhoods, get your down payment ready, rent for the first year before you buy. And then when you buy, I've said all along, it has to be a long-term commitment. If you think I'm going to live here for a few years and then maybe move again, don't buy. 8 to 10 year minimum is what you want to commit to home ownership because of those friction costs here. The PTT, the potential GST, the conveyance costs, buying and selling, and then the commissions to sell the home if you have to sell and move. So this is the wake-up call, folks. There are still, I just had a loft condo I just sold a month ago for $840 a square foot. Concrete, pretty decent strata with an oversized parking space. Unit needed a reno, but very livable as is, and you could slowly improve it over the years as you go along. Just had another one on a couple of one beds in central downtown, near Yaletown, one in the West End, just over $1,000 a square foot. This one was 12-year-old condo, 12 years old with parking for just over $1,000 a square foot, and it's a good strata. I have many condos that I'm selling still, high quality strata, 1,200 a square foot with parking, concrete, under 12, 13 years old. Start saving for the down payment on this. Those days are over. We're not going to be building anything. Very little is being built anyways now that these have been converted to rental. And anything that will be built will be at $2,000 a square foot and up. Hardly affordable. The window is closing though on these 850, 900, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 a square foot condos. And it's going to accelerate the prices of this current inventory because nothing is coming online now. Final thing is, once you get into these rental buildings at 27, 28, 2,900 for a one bedroom, I've blogged about this, it's tough to get off that treadmill. Once you get into that and 60, 65% of your income is going towards your rent and you're getting nothing back for that, of course, you're in serious trouble. I've blogged so many times about this. You might be better off just moving outside of Vancouver. Go to a less expensive city. I've had many people over the years that have done that. I've sold condos and homes. They've moved, and then some of them have come back once they're in a position to be able to buy and get out of that renter treadmill. But this is something you'll never hear talk about here. I think I'm one of the few people. There has to be at least 10 projects that were designated for strata, condos. You got to buy them, own them, that have been scrapped now in exchange for rental-only buildings. Again, we need more rental, don't get me wrong. But there is another, off the top of my head, 900 homes that could be bought, stratified, you could own them, that are not going to be that are off the table now. It's just simple economics. It's going to put more pressure on the existing condos we do have downtown. And that's only going to increase as population keeps moving into Vancouver. Easily far and away the most desirable city in Canada, bar none. One of the most desirable in North America, bar none. Demand is going to increase every year. Supply is stagnant now. And the little bit that was coming on has been converted to rental. Governments like the NDP want to enable you. That's what they're doing. They want to keep you in that renter treadmill. That's what socialism does. They don't want you to become an owner. They want you to rely on them for more, keep pumping this stuff in. They're like a junkie. Keep pumping you with more rental stock as opposed to building more condos that you can buy and own. Go back and watch my blogs. Of course, people are going to say, well, I can't afford 600, 650, 700. Well, don't start in Vancouver. Start out on SkyTrain in New Westminster for 400 or Richmond for 400. There's good old wood frame condos in the low fours in Richmond that are perfect. Start with that and then move your way up. But be careful. More rental is great, but it comes at a cost. The cost is that those were going to be condos have now been converted to rental. The price of the existing inventory and the existing condo base we have downtown and Mount Pleasant and Kitts is only going to keep rising. The cavalry isn't on the way. I'm Owen Bigland. Thanks to all my new subscribers. I'll see you next week.